All right, well,
How you got it casting live though? All right, here we go, y'all.
iPhone.
Holla to y'all.
Yeah.
All my new South Empire, wonderful and fantastic fun family of winners. This your winner, Fitz you, Sergio Fevers Huff. That's right, we got the Winners podcast in full effect. We got my winners with me, the Duffies over here to the left, Letitia and Jeremiah.
Yo.
My winner for life, Dr. Attorney Samuel Blue, philosopher, philanthropist, activist, researcher, strategist, Dr. Samuel Blue. That's right. Today's episode is going to be very intriguing, interesting. We're going to dissect quite a few things. One thing is the big, beautiful bill. We're going to talk about the dent that he's making in the national deficit with the tariffs. We're going to talk about him not, our winner, Donald Trump, not wasting no time and said, fuck Congress. And you go ahead and do the damn thing. Because, I mean, if we had to wait it on Congress, we'd still be waiting. But anyway, let's go ahead right on into the first topic. Oh, that's right. First of all, we got to send a shout out to our sponsors. That's right. Hey, y'all check that out. This is Fitz Paradise Juice. That's right. Doja Vineyards. I have my own brand, y'all, and we are a sponsor of the Winners Podcast. Doja Vineyards, Fitz Paradise Juice. Fruit punch flavored moonshine. And it will make your tongue snap your brains out. For real. We also got Lit Sticks. THC, and we got CBD, and we got hemp for them. This is by Team Collective. Rashid Myers, appreciate the sponsorship. Guys, y'all go out and go to teamcollectiveware.com and litsticks.com and purchase your Team Collective Wear and your Lit Sticks, and you will be lit like Fitz. Straight like that. Anyway, let's start with this big, beautiful bill. I know it's 47 pages, but I think the meat of it is on what pages, Samuel?
Midway through page 11.
All right, well, let's get to the meat of it. I like the meat, you know what I'm saying? So, there we go. There we go. Oh, my engineer ain't playing with you. Thank you, Sawyer. There you go. I believe we're right there. Go ahead, tell us a little bit about what exactly going on with this big, beautiful bill. I like everything big, especially beautiful. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, if he could scroll down just a little bit into, yeah, right there. Section 1119, extension of exclusion from gross income of student loans discharge on account of death or disability. So basically, when a funeral home registers someone when they pass away, when they register, normally everything gets halted, bank accounts, anything, and it goes into probate, and then notifications are sent out. And there's a website set up where a lot of companies can go to see if someone has, if someone owes them debt, and they're able to put in a claim for it. So now what's going to happen is, as soon as they enter that information, the person is going to be excluded. So let's say, for example, if their loan was forgiven by being military, disabled, or anything, before that used to count as income, and then that would go into probate and all those things. But now is no longer classified as an income that person received. So when they do pass away, they're not going to be, the probate is not going to be liable to any income tax, any type of fees, and also the other provision is that they're going to completely discharge the debt, so that also doesn't go to probate. So if I have an insurance policy for $100,000 and my student loans are $100,000, in the past that would go through probate, and then that money would be paid. So I would basically have zero. So now that's not going to happen anymore.
Okay, hold on a second. How is that in effect anyway? And who put that in effect anyway?
It was part of, well, when it started getting charged, it was part of the Inflation Reduction Act. So basically, in either 2022, I believe it's 2022. That's when funeral homes had to start registering, because when they looked through everything, they found out there's been people that's been collecting their parents' Social Security, and their parents passed away 10, 15, 20 years ago. And they still, the bank doesn't know that the parents has passed or anything, and the sibling or the child or dependent is still just going to the bank scanning it. They're charging all that money, utilizing it, opening up credit card debt. So it basically got enforced more when Doge started to be enforced, because a lot of that was fraud.
Right, right. I remember
So it's
that.
roughly supposed to stop about 80. I think they said about $85 billion is being paid now in fraud to Social Security that people have already passed away.
Wow. Okay, now let's moving right along. What other intriguing part of that big beautiful what's the other intriguing part of that big beautiful bill?
If you go to if you go to the next page, page 12, near the bottom, it's where it talks about the no tax on overtime and the provision and the enhanced deduction for seniors. The no tax for on overtime, everybody will get taxed. So when this passes, you're gonna hear like um, the minority speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, and some other people talking about, oh, see, look at your check, you still paying taxes, on your tips. They're going to create that buzz, but what they're not going to tell the people is that at the end of the year, when you file your income tax, you get 100% of that money back. They just have to they have to have a log so they can say, okay, we saved the average of $1,600 or $2,500 per taxpayer by doing this. That's how they measure the progress, and if it's working or if it's not working. And it's going to be the same thing on uh, no tax on Social Security. And if you go to the next section, 103, enhanced deduction for seniors, that's going to be the same thing, where it is not in law now. That's why it says not applicable. But the new provision is going to make sure that nobody has to pay on that. Of course, they're going to have to pay initially, but then they're going to be able to get all of that stuff back. And it's basically ending at 2028, because it's listed as a pilot program. So all these things are pilot programs. So when 2028 happens, it's basically politics. They're going to put pressure on the Democrats to keep this in place. If not, people aren't going to vote for them, because they've had a taste of getting all their taxes back from tips. And once you give people a taste of it, it's hard to take that back without them saying something.
So basically, my winner Trump is keeping his word. We just won't see the results until next year.
Yeah, you'll begin to see it on your when you file your taxes next time.
Yeah, next year.
Okay,
Because
yeah,
that's when it's going to reflect if it's working, and it's going to allow people, when they get their income tax, they may be used to receiving like $600 back. But then when they get that income tax after this, it's going to say like 2,500. So they're going to be able to see the difference that is making.
So Duffy's. Why
Yeah.
why do y'all think it's so much fluff and hatred toward this big beautiful bill? Well, what part is the left hating on?
Well, first and foremost, misinformation.
Of course, of
It's
course.
hard to know what's factual when you're not a fact seeker. You're just a media person. You know what I mean? You
When
watch
you're a Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, when you're a Jasmine Yeah, Karen don't exist no more. It's Jasmine Crockett's out there now. Yeah.
You know, and a lot of those types of mindsets tend to lead the wrong um, agenda towards what's actually happening. So that is the number one thing, is just being misinformed and not looking for the actual facts. You're just going off what you're being told.
And again, you know, politics is you know, po politics, just like popularity, you know, people tend to go with, you know, popularity in a sense. And so, you know, it's just like if you meet a person in the street and, you know, they give you a bad vibe, or you just, you know, somebody you know doesn't like such and such,
Now
what'll
you don't
happen
like them.
is, you know, by association, people would just automatically tend to hate or dislike, you know. I do believe firmly that, you know, a lot of what's going on, you know, with the resistance of, you know, Trump is got a lot to do with popularity. You know, people, you know, they say they have a problem with him. They're just going to find anything to nitpick. And,
Yeah.
you know, as I said from the beginning, as every president, give him time. It takes
Yeah.
patience, you know,
I
but
mean,
you'll see results.
they hate that dude so bad, man. They hate that dude so bad that they don't even care to look at the facts. They trying to get Usher to sue him for using his song at one of his rallies, at the parade or something like that. And Usher told them people, man, I'm not suing that man. He could use that
Exactly.
song.
That's
He
a
could
no.
use that. You know, it's just really crazy, man. But
Yeah.
anyway. And anything else pertinent in that big beautiful bill that we need to know about that everybody's falsifying, Samuel?
Well, I focus on what's going to save people money, like regular folks money, because
Right.
Yeah.
at the end of the day, wealthy folks gonna make their money. But I think if you look at the amount of tax, I mean the amount of interest, I tell people there's three things that remove people from having wealth. It's fines, fees, and interest.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And the average credit card is like 22 to 29% interest.
Yes.
You know, for someone that has okay credit. But if you go and finance a car, there's people now, I think the lowest I've seen was like 14.99%. And to me, that's crazy. And basically, that means that if you finance a car for 6 years, or let's say 72 months, and that car is $10,000, at the end of that loan, when you pay it off, you've paid $24,500. You've literally paid for a whole new car, and that doesn't make any sense. So basically, this provision um is going to incentivize the car companies that are already coming back to the US. Honda's reopening their Indiana plant again. They stopped construction on their Mexico plant. Rolls-Royce,
Yeah,
they're using one of the old Ford plants, retrofitting it for their vehicles. All the Jeep vehicles, a lot of people don't know that when Stellantis bought Jeep, Chrysler, they closed all their factories and then moved all the factories to the Netherlands. So every
Hmm.
single Jeep is made in the Netherlands. Every single Chrysler is made in the Netherlands. So now they're opening their companies in Detroit and some of the other places where they don't have to build from scratch from the ground up. They just basically have to retrofit, and it's going to bring jobs. But at the end of the day, that 14% interest, or let's say if you have decent credit and you're paying 8% interest, that $8 out of every $100, that money stays in your pocket. Like, of
Hmm.
course, you know, you're gonna pay it initially, but just like with a mortgage, when you get that interest and you can write that off on your taxes, you'll be able to do that with your vehicle. So what's that's going to do is incentivize car companies to start bringing their factories back to the US, which creates jobs that are like 30 to $75 an hour for anybody who's lived around Michigan, Indiana. And then the same effect with Boeing. You know, Boeing's hiring 8,000 people because of that $140 billion that Qatar promised to buy in Brent to replace their entire airline fleet.
Yeah, I
So
remember that.
those
Yeah.
those are creating jobs here because they don't want to pay the tariffs, and everybody is not going to be like GM, where GM is swallowing what they projected, the $5 billion in tariffs. They just said, instead of making $13 billion profit, we'll only make $8 billion. Like every company is not going to eat the cost like they are.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and
and speaking of tariffs, since June 11th,
mhm,
$19.5 billion, y'all. Our
mhm.
winner Trump got 19, so we up to what? 70, we up to $80 billion so far.
Yeah, it's
That man,
89. It's
80,
the
eighty
trade
nine
deficit is
billion
cut
dollars.
in half.
That man ain't
and
playing. That man is
and
not playing.
that's what people got to realize, man. Like I remember when the election was going on and everything, and everybody was just like, oh no, Trump is a liar. He lies about this, he lies about that, and it's just so funny because when you sit back. We're not even into a year now, fully into the his new term, and again, everything that he said that he was going to do, he's doing. You see what I'm saying?
And more. And more.
And yeah, and that's what you look for. Don't worry about oh, do you like him? Oh, is he on the wrong political side that you don't want him to be on, or did he rub elbows with some people? I always judge people's characters on, are you going to come through on what you said you was going to do? And and that's the main thing, and so he's pulling through, and it's a good step towards where we need to be going as America, to make America great again, if you should say. We got a long way to go, but it's a good start. It's a really good start.
Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that saying back then you didn't love me, but now you're all over me. Okay, now it's the opposite with him. Back then they was all on him. Oprah, Obama, the Clintons, everybody. He done been in their house. He was damn near godfather to their children.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He
Hmm.
done hung out with all of them. Done went to all of their houses. Schumer, all of them. All the ones that's hating him now, before they love the hell out of him, but now because he over on this side, they got a lot of haterism. All right, now let's talk about this. He dropped some bombs for real. He even dropped the F bomb. You know what I'm saying? My winner said, "Fuck y'all." He said, "Y'all." He said, "Y'all been fighting so long, y'all don't know what the fuck y'all doing."
Hmm.
Y'all heard him say that? That's my winner, man. There, you know what I'm saying? He dropped some bombs. I'm talking about some verbal bombs and some missile bombs. Uh,
Oh yeah.
did what were those sites demolished or damaged? Anybody? Did y'all know? Don't y'all know anything about them sites being demolished or damaged?
I heard they were demolished for the most part.
CNN
From
said
what,
they damaged. CNN said they were only damaged.
well, that could 100% be true. Regardless, it does put a halt into production. For nuclear war capacity. What a lot of people do have to understand too. Sidebar to that with nuclear capabilities. Nuclear is not always just for bombs. I mean, we
Right, right.
run,
It's for
a
commercial
lot
use
of
too.
our,
Correct.
yeah, power and a lot of different usage. But when you have people out here that threaten to utilize that in the wrong manner, it is good to take action. I mean, we can go back to Hiroshima, Nagasaki, World War II, all that stuff like that. I mean, you got countries and cities and places that are still rebuilding from nuclear war, aftermath. And so, any time that we can take a step to preventing, any type of nuclear warfare is a positive step, in that, retrospect, the way I see it. So I look at it as a job well done. You know, we gotta put a stop to it. You know,
I would
personally.
like to take this time too to anybody that's viewing right now to come on in. We got room. We got an extra room tonight. Come on in if you would like to. We would patch you on in. If not, you're not comfortable about being seen. Leave comments, subscribe, and come on in, and we would love to have you. But I also want to bring this to attention. Y'all ever encounter these "woe is me, woe is we"? So-called woke folk. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And you know what? A lot of the times, the majority of them are so-called Christians. You know,
Mm,
how can you trust God one time, but you don't trust Him on this one? You know what I'm saying? Uh, I can't comprehend that or understand it, overstand it, or none of that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we've been having World War III. That they wasn't hollering World War III when Biden and Obama was in there.
mm-hmm.
Exactly.
When they was messing up, uh, uh, when they was addicted to saying World War III or whatever, or addicted to all this other stuff, warfare. When Trump was in office last time, we had 4 wars that people didn't really know about:
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Syria, Turkey, Oman, and Libya.
I was about to say
Okay.
Libya.
Not one soldier got killed. Not no boots on the ground. No pun intended. 803 fresh, but no boots on the ground. You know why? Because he don't play. He cut their heads off. He cut their headquarters off. He just blew them out the water and done, done, done. Just like he gonna do with anybody else. He ain't playing. We ain't got to worry about no soldiers. And then everybody talking about here come the draft. Ain't nobody said nothing about no draft. We got enough people volunteering because they know they ain't got to go to war. You know, we got a president that's about action, not that hope. You know what I'm saying? Hey, all this hope. To me, the Democratic Party are hope dealers, hope dealing, hope dreams to the hope addicts. You know what I'm saying? My winner
Yep.
talk about that action. Ain't got to worry about no. Well, here come World War III. Man, I'm so tired of these woe is me, woe is we, so-called woke folk.
The thing is,
Um,
when you brought up Obama, it made me think of something. I was chatting with a friend of mine earlier this week, and we came across an article about what's the little girl named Mahala Obama, who actually is about to
Malia.
Malia
Yeah.
but like,
Obama,
yeah, yeah,
who
yeah.
who is actually in some trouble right now because she received $2.2 million for writing letters. I wish I could get $2.2 million for writing a damn letter. But yeah, it was fraudulent activity behind that as well. So now she's trying to, I guess, switch her last name because she don't want to bring that, I guess, drama to her parents
Too
because
late, too
yeah,
lait.
it's way too late. We
Yeah,
know who you
what's
are.
that? What's that called? Plagiarism or something like
But
that? What?
yeah, plagiarism, plagiarism.
Well, oh, really? That I didn't hear about that one. I didn't hear about that one. But anyway,
Hmm.
don't nothing surprise me no more. And I'm like, I sit here and I'm trying to bust my brain about what Obama did for us. Why they praise this man so much? I
We
can't
lost a
figure it
lot
out.
behind him. We lost a lot of for minorities, even though we've never been the minority, but that's another whole story.
Yeah,
um we lost a lot of our rights even behind the Obama campaign.
yeah. We lost the
That's just what it
veterans.
is.
The veterans lost their cost of living rate. The veterans lost their cost of living raise for 8 years. And,
Yeah.
he for 8 years he gave it to the gay rights bill. But we already know what
Yep.
that's about. You know what I'm saying?
And,
We already know.
Well,
yeah.
Michael, I mean, oops.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
nother
yeah, yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
whole nother
Michael
piece of
Obama. Yeah,
pop.
we know, we already know about
Michael.
that.
Yeah,
You
man.
can't
Hey, look.
find you can't find a picture of it pregnant nowhere. Google it.
eh,
Well,
and this the thing about that whole situation now, you know, that agenda, you know, and I want to start off with a disclaimer, you know, like, hey, look, I am for anybody being who they are and who they want to be.
Love is love.
You know, I love people. I love everybody. You
But
know,
don't
this
try
is
to put
not.
that shit on me though.
Yeah, this is not a shot to the LGBT community, but you know, also we was coming off on a report that talking. A lady was talking about how everybody, you know, it comes to, you know, black people running up to us and talking about, you know, why are you not helping us? You know, why are you not aiding in our you know, our fight? And my thing is like this, and this goes to the LGBTQ,
Nobody
the
helped us.
Asians, the Indians, the
Oh no,
Middle
you forgot
Easterners,
the
and
plus. You
everybody.
forgot the plus.
Fight, fight your own fight. You see what I'm saying? And I get it. We can all band together, but if we're fighting, if I'm a bee and I like honey and you're a fly and you like shit, you see what I'm saying? You can't expect me as a bee to come and want to fight for your shit. You see what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? I
Oh
want to
wow,
fight for my
I
honey.
gotta use that
You know
one.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So look, y'all LGBTQ community, if y'all want to, you know, y'all want all of y'all rights, even the feminist community, anybody, I don't care who you are, fight your own fight.
Well, we all know the feminist movement was
Yeah,
never
don't
about
try to
fighting
don't
women.
try to don't try to recruit. Don't try to
Yeah,
recruit and don't try to recruit and pollute. I'm gonna say it
yeah,
and pollute
yeah.
the rest of the community, which is dying because the
Mhm.
corporations have separated themselves from that. Trump has declared that there is no more Pride Month, and next year is going to be Veterans Month. So
Yeah.
he's
I
working
mean,
on
the
that too.
rainbow
Yeah,
was given to us by God for a whole different reason. Has
yeah,
nothing to do with being homosexual. And
yeah.
I don't really
Rainbow.
like
Yeah,
using the
yeah,
word. I don't like using the word gay particularly because I was
yeah,
a smarty pants kid and
yeah,
I knew gay
yeah.
meant happy, it meant
Right,
blissful, it
right,
meant
right.
joy, not homosexual. So I cannot. There's just certain words and things that have been given to us to confuse us more, and it seems like no one cares about the etymology of the
Normalized.
word.
Yeah, try to
Right. Thank
normalize
you,
it.
Sam. Yes.
Yeah, every year they add another letter, but they skip
Yeah.
F and D. They
You know they
skip
tried
F
to
and
add a
D. What
black.
happened to F and D? Why they leave
You
F and
remember?
D out? You know?
Were you were you all paying attention? Like maybe last year they tried to add a black, like a brown rainbow ray to the rainbow, saying that now it means for black people. No, it don't. No, it don't.
Mhm.
It does not mean me. What do you mean? That is an insult. And if I have one of you, although I'm for love is love, yes. But baby, don't you ever insult me as the woman I was
But
born
that's not love.
as
That's
cis
lust.
anything.
That's not
Cis
love. That's
cis
lust. Yeah,
woman,
yeah.
cis
That's not
man.
love.
Boy,
Hey,
you better get out of my face before I punch you in your Adam's apple.
I ain't hit it. Yeah, straight like that.
Sorry, that was a whole
Samuel,
different.
Oh, Sam,
Samuel,
I'm sorry, Sam. I don't like that shit.
Samuel. Do you think Trump's bill on Pride Month, uh, you think that's gonna make it through?
Oh, they don't. I mean, he basically can sign an executive order that
Yep.
will end basically when the next president takes over.
Yep.
So, presidents sign executive orders all the time. Of course, Biden broke the record of X and every executive sign an executive order to X every executive order Trump did. And when Trump just became president, he did that same exact thing. But the thing that Trump did was he pointed to the things that was he felt was making the country weaker, like
Mhm.
Yep.
not allowing trans people to be in the military. And to me, I agree with that because
Yeah.
Me
when
too.
you're a trans person and you're going through your transition, you have to take these hormones, testosterone, estrogen, and
Sputamolactone.
while you're doing that, you're considered non-deployable, like you're not mission ready.
Yeah.
And if you do the research, that person has to take that medication the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they're never able to be deployed. So I understand people, when they say people should want to fight for their country or you shouldn't Segregate. They go in knowing, but what it opened the door was, and this is what I tell people all the time. That's everything is about health, is about medical spending, the medication and all that. What Pfizer and a lot of these companies are doing, they're trying to create business. So yeah, they're gonna say, okay, we need people to be trans because we need to come up with this medication that costs $1,000 a dose that they
Yep.
have to take the rest of their life.
Yep.
So it's all the trans community is all about money, you
It's the
know,
money pit. Yep.
because the biggest cost in the US is healthcare. And that's the bag for a lot of the politicians. So when we
Hmm.
have somebody that, I was speaking to somebody that was LGB. That's what they considered themselves. And I said, well, how do you think about all the other letters? And she was like, I can't get with that. She's
Yep.
like, now don't get me wrong. I support them because they support me,
Mm-hmm.
but the groups are so small, so that's why they're coming with all these letters. And now they're talking. That's why I don't like the term people of color, because
Yes.
I'm black.
Agreed.
You know,
Sam, hold that thought. So, what is your thoughts on the fact that the NAACP has that word in it? How can you be for me, but you call me such? Not to mention, they have now made it so that it's supposed to be quote unquote for everybody. Well, what the fuck? Take that word down.
the to me the NAACP is one of the most corrupt
It is
organizations to bring down the
ever.
black community. Because let's look at North Carolina alone. North
Yes.
Carolina, the NAACP was so corrupt. When I was at Fort Bragg, they gave us a booklet, and it said like if you donate this certain percent goes to admin fees or it goes to the actual cause. Well, when I looked at the NAACP, 92% goes to administrative costs. That means salaries.
Mm.
So only 8% is going
Go to
to
the
the
cause.
actual cause. Now, when
Yeah.
I looked at the Ronald McDonald House,
Mm. Speak.
100% went to their cause
Mm.
I
of
love
kids
for
with
them.
cancer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so that began to open my eyes. And then we look at the guy that was over in North Carolina NAACP, Barber.
Barbara,
He,
he in trouble now. He in trouble
but
now.
Yeah, he is.
this is the thing with Barber, because he was misspending money, cooking the books and all that stuff for decades. The NAACP lost their nonprofit status like 5, 6 years ago. What
Mm-hmm.
they did was they appealed it, and I think last year, I believe it was last year, they lost that appeal.
They did.
And right before they lost that appeal, he resigned saying he's retiring. So that way he could say, oh, that happened after I left, or that
Yeah,
didn't have
but
nothing to do
It
with
happened
me.
after he left.
But
yeah, but
now,
his wife
now his
snitched on him.
yeah, his wife has now opened up the books, said, no, this Joker was buying Rolexes, like his curl, it wasn't no regular Jerry curl. It was real moist with the best
His soul
ingredients.
glow.
Yeah.
His soul
So
glow.
so I don't think highly of the NAACP. And I know Fitz had Sergio had a friend that I think his last name was Bowie, and he said he used to work for the NAACP. And I said, well, you just as corrupt as them because you knew what was going on.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
I just think that's one that we have to stop letting manipulate us.
Well,
Talk,
you know what? I've always been suspect of anybody that praise another man.
Mhm.
I don't praise Trump. I like Trump. That's my winner. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm not gonna have no picture of him on my wall. If I go in your house and you got a picture of Jesus Christ on the wall, JFK, Martin Luther King, uh, Jesse Jackson, any of them niggas.
Cool.
Oh
Let's not
damn! I
talk
said the
about
N
this.
word.
Dr. DJ
Any of
Lane.
them people any of them people on your wall, I'm walking back out. Uh,
Amen.
you know what I'm saying? Uh,
Expeditiously.
expeditiously. It's like, oh my God.
What
You,
about the
you,
old velvet photo with the sister with the chain around her neck with no top on with the
I,
squirrel?
that's crazy, man. You know, that's some crazy stuff. But this world are full of followers,
Yes.
and
Yes, I call them
and
sheep.
uh, and I'm like this. You know, I can't
Still
see
sheep.
no man leading me because no man is going to dictate the quality of my life. Now,
Amen.
am I going to study what's going down? Yes, for precaution measures. But other than that, no, they can kiss the crap for real. Now, the next topic, we are at halftime, guys, right now, and I'm gonna let everybody know that is whoever's viewing that they're more than welcome to come in with their own topic. With their own topic, we could switch it up because we got the right people on this show. We got the winners on the show. Shout out to Lyric. She's not able to be with us tonight because she's in Arizona
Hey,
and
Lyric.
in a different time zone. So she's not able to be with us tonight, but we miss her. Even though
Oh, yes,
she
we do.
is, even though she leans left, we still
We still
But
love you.
she still stick with the facts
she
now.
still stick with the
I'm
facts
gonna
though.
stick up
She
for my
she
sis.
she will not listen to Fat Joe and lean right. Lean right and lean back. She will lean left. But anyway, what else we supposed to be talking about? I got my screen so big I can't even see. What else we supposed to be talking about? Sam, can you see it? What else we supposed to be talking about?
Yeah, I think. What about the new superhero Jasmine Crockett?
Oh no, she history.
No,
She
she
history.
ran. She wanted to be the majority on the House Ways and Means Committee, the
Come on,
oversight,
man. I want to hear Sam Blue. I don't want to hear the chipmunks.
and
Where the
she came in
chipmunks at?
last place.
All right, Alvin. I'm gonna change your name to Alvin. Alvin and the chipmunk.
Is that me now? Is that better?
That's you now. There you go. That's
That's
better.
you.
There go Alvin. Look at
Look,
Alvin.
look, talk about Al.
Come on, man. This supposed to be a serious. This supposed to be a highly controversial show.
Is it better now?
Yeah, that's better now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button on my pad. I'm sorry. I'm learning this.
I was like, what is going on?
All right, go ahead, go ahead. What happened to Jasmine, man?
She came in last place in all the voting, so even her colleagues didn't even want her. She literally came in last.
She's a clown anyway, man.
I was
So
about
we
to
would
say,
have
all right,
went.
now.
So if she had a made it, we'd have went from the giggler to what? What was she though? The giggler to the perpetrator to the joker.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well, okay.
pretty
Now,
much.
what about the FBI leak?
Mm.
Was there some
I
kind of
think.
FBI leak here lately?
Well, I know the classified information from the bombing got leaked, but they said today that that person is going to jail because those were top secret files, and that's almost like treason.
Mm,
Yeah. Okay. Who they leak it to? CNN, right?
CNN, yeah.
mm.
Mm.
So if they leaked it to CNN, you think it was true?
No, because what they leaked was not the entire report. They picked and choose gave CNN to create a certain narrative. Now, what people don't realize is that it actually helped what Trump wanted to do. Because when he took office back in on the 20th of January, he nominated Pete Hegseth as the Secretary of Defense and Chrissy Nome as Department of Homeland Security Secretary. What they started to do, because they learned from the last time he was president how many people was leaking information, so they began to start doing polyographs. They started to do all those things, and the Secretary of Defense has fired 19 of his personnel that he thought was cool, but when they failed that polygraph, when they asked him the question, have you leaked any information to the media? And they're just firing them left and right. And that's the reason why they were able to do that strike this past Saturday like they did. Because they're making people take polygraphs now. Because all these people getting paid this money, by the press. Hey, if you give me this info, I got
Mm-hmm.
5K if it's juicy. So that's the issue right there. And I think with with this classified leak about the bombing, they still hadn't done their full report. It was just preliminary. And so CNN has information that only was in the skiff, in the top secret section of the Pentagon. So they're going to be able to subpoena CNN, and CNN is not, because it's classified information, they're not going to be able to hide around their journalistic integrity or any of that, because that right there is, could endanger American lives.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
even what's his name, Brian Enton, he was actually there, and he said that he really feel that it was obliterated, versus the snitch saying that it wasn't. Okay, now
Well,
y'all know that one of my mottos is it's impossible for you to be right if you're on the left. All right, yeah, we with that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now I seen I seen earlier on the TV and on Instagram. I think it was Officer Tatum. Y'all know him?
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
He's very well known on social media. Where the Iranian people were in the streets partying because Trump bombed Iran because they want a new regime.
Mm-hmm.
Where the left are over here protesting. Help me understand that. Help that make sense to me.
The
I mean,
media.
Well,
can y'all see where the Iranian people would be happy about Trump bombing?
well, yeah, because you got to understand this. What a lot of people don't get about what's going on in these other countries that we just get a snippet of on the news is that you know a lot of times, like when it was Hamas, when it was ISIS, when it was Taliban, or whoever, all these other, extreme, regimes that were in these countries, you know these people, a lot of these citizens live in fear for their lives. It's just like, let's just say in America, the Bloods and the Crips, right, are running rampant, all over America. And they're, knocking on people's doors, holding people at gunpoint, this, that, and third. Like, not everybody is down with the cause. And so when we tend to, when we see these snippets on TV and on the news, we tend to think, okay, well, Iran, when you speak of Iran, you're speaking about the whole country, and this is why I don't like, people being grouped together, in situations, because what happens is that people tend to put association with things. Not everybody in Iran is down with what's going on the radical side. We can't just sum up the whole country of Iran in a situation of whatever's going on with Hamas, or whatever quote unquote terrorist regime is going on. So yeah, I think that the report on that was true. That people were partying because it's a rejoicing moment. To see, especially America. We have this bully effect. We come to the defense of a lot of people in need. And we as the American people, we don't get to see that inside situation. Only thing we see is we associate in Iran with the terrorist group, and that's it. So yeah, I think that they were celebrating. I think that that they have a certain level of gratitude to Trump.
And hope.
And it's
And hope.
Yeah, yeah, it's hope, and it's hope for a better day for them, because until you live in one of those countries, day in and day out the way we live in America, like they have to live, you'll never understand the hell. I mean, you could go back to World War II, and Germany, and Poland, and all these different type of places. When these extreme people come out, they tend to speak for a whole segment of people, but not everybody wants to be spoken for. So yeah, we sometimes have to do our due diligence and drop a bomb on some people that ain't got the best interest in mind for people around them. So yeah, I think it was true. I mean,
Okay, we got 10 minutes. So I'm gonna ask a very important question. Uh, I'm gonna ask each one of y'all, and I want y'all to answer briefly. Does the United States, no, better still, does the world need to be fearful of World War III because of Trump's actions? Samuel,
No,
I agree.
not at all.
not
Nah.
none whatsoever.
I'm gonna say this. First of all, my God, which is Almighty, is not gonna let no human being destroy His earth, and that's what nuclear warfare would do.
Yeah, you're right.
And I
And,
have true faith and belief in my higher power. Okay,
yeah.
all right. I don't feel that Trump's actions or any man's actions can cause that to be. But they say that the Iranian people have a right to have nuclear capability, of course, for commercial
Yeah.
purposes, but not at the magnitude of what the Ayatollah was trying to do.
Enrich enriched uranium.
Enrich uranium. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
that. The
That
only
that's
purpose of enriching uranium is to create weapons
and
because
and he threatens people.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, do you feel that the world should be fearful? I ain't talking about the left. They're demonized anyway.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about the same people. The same people, should they be fearful of World War III like they've been hollering for when Trump was in there last time because of Trump's action?
Nah, I feel like this is a classic situation of you just come to a new school, and somebody is taking your lunch money every day. It comes a point in time where you got to put people in their place. It's a showing, it's an expedition. I'm not saying that right. An exhibition of
Right,
power.
right, right.
You know what I mean. And it's showing the world. Again, and we can go back. In history of American history, and it's showing the world. That when you come and you stepping out of line and you're trying, like you have to make an example of some people, and this was a critical example of, and I don't see why, me personally, if I could speak quick on 1 minute to all the radical regimes out there, because you never know who's listening. You could be approached or a part of or have friends and family. Listen, everybody, if you believe in God, then you believe that God put us on this earth to be able to live in equality, to be, and we don't even have to stem further beyond that point, because if you believe in equality, then you believe that everybody should have the right to do and say as they please in the confines of not harming other people. You see what I'm saying? When whatever, you have to ask yourself this question: if whatever you're doing is bringing harm to another people, you should definitely reconsider who you're associating yourself with and what you're doing. And I feel like, you know, the airstrikes that we put out there was a great example. They said, quote unquote, in the reports that nobody was injured or got hurt. And it was a showing of putting a corrective place, you know, in the action. So I don't think you should be fearful of World War III. Me personally, I'm not fearful of anything. I don't fear no man but God, and He's not a man, but I don't fear nothing but him or her. And I feel like we should not have to live in fear of World War III. I feel like that if we all are looking for a proper resolution, then we are going to find it. And I think we are starting to see that now, you know, and I think people are opening their eyes to understanding that. So no, don't fear it. Don't fear World War III. Just let's get this debt down, you know, let's lower gas prices, you know what I'm saying?
And I
Homelessness is
see
another
that
thing.
happening too. I see that happening.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is, you know. So hey, look, that hey, look, I applaud, you know, the current, you know, administration, you know, on what they're doing. I, like I said, I'm a person, I believe, like, hey, everything is in due time, so let him do what he do, and we're gonna make it better.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm cooking a little late. We're making Philly cheesesteak from scratch.
No, it's okay. All right,
I'm hungry.
I do want to ask this though. Do you guys approve of do you guys approve of Trump bypassing Congress?
Oh,
How
heck
else was he
yeah.
gonna get anything done?
Heck yeah. If
He
me,
didn't bypass Congress.
uh-oh.
Uh
Speak.
oh.
Go
Uh
ahead.
oh, enlighten us.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Well, the powers, the wartime powers, is exactly what Obama used with his six
Hmm.
strikes to six different countries. Joe Biden used it to do against two countries, and Trump did that same exact thing. He used those same powers. The only thing that the president has to do by the War Powers Act is notify Congress within 48 hours after it's finished. That's the reason why when Obama would do a bombing, he would go and do that conference, but he wouldn't just do it at a conference, he would do it to the world. You know, he would do it on national TV. Of course, Biden, you know, as soon as it happened, you know, he was probably on the beat. But Trump made sure he did that. And then when some of the Democrats tried to say, oh, he didn't call me or he didn't do anything. Well, the White House press secretary released the receipt. She's like, Hakeem Jeffries 4 times for the call to voicemail. You know, and some of Chuck Schumer got the call. It was 17 minutes, I believe it showed. So he did exactly what he was supposed to do. But the only time that a president has to come to Congress to get their approval is if you're declaring war or you're putting soldiers' boots on the ground in a hostile country. With those two things did not happen. He didn't declare war,
Neither
and
one.
there's not one soldier that's on the ground in Iran.
Straight like that. Guess what, y'all? I love the fudge out of y'all, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I love the fudge out of
Yes,
y'all.
sir.
I don't know if it's this. I don't know if it's this at all. I don't know who this girl is hitting me up over here, but she need to get the hell on, cause
Oh,
right here, I don't know if it's my Doja Moon Fruit Punch Fitch Paradise Juice. I might have to change it to Fitch Passion Juice, but anyway, I'm gonna leave it alone because it's selling like crazy, y'all. Y'all go get y'all's, man, at www.dojavineyard.com. That's right, FPJ. That's right,
Oh, yeah.
y'all
or
get it
take a
good
trip
rate.
out to.
Huh?
I said,
So
or
yes,
they could definitely take a trip out to the vineyard and have a
you take a
tasting.
trip up to the vineyard. You're gonna pay more though. You're gonna pay more though. You go out there, yeah.
Shut up, Fitz.
Straight like
Stop
that. I'm gonna tell
talking.
you that right now. I want my commission. And then if y'all want that lit sticks, y'all hit me up. I got them lit sticks. I got the CBD, the hemp, and the THC. Straight like that. For real. Hybrid, sativa, and indica. And by the way, I'm giving y'all a bottle each and some sticks too. All right, guys. So
Yes,
anyway,
sir.
we are at the end of our show. This has been a very informative. It hasn't been controversial because we haven't had our other two guests. But anyway, you know, she'll be back like Arnold Schwarzenegger, believe that. But
Oh, yeah.
anyway, I really appreciate y'all, especially the Duffies. We know y'all got y'all grandchildren there. We appreciate you taking the time out tonight and joining us. And thank you for our viewers. And the next time, don't y'all be so damn shy. Come on in here, man. Come on out of here. You know what I'm saying? And put them boots on the ground. We know where our fans at, right here. Peace,
Yes,
love, and
sir.
hair grease. See y'all next